Today is going to be my 2014 favorites, and I've got loads to get through. So I'm just going to start straight off with my favorite primer this year. Has definitely got to be the By Terry Terribly Denseless primer, because I love the way it works as skincare as well as a primer for my foundation. So my favorite drugstore primer this year last year has been the Revlon Photo Ready Perfecting Primer, and it's really mattifying, and I love that for, you know, going out in the evening when I want a kind of a more matte look to my face. This really mattifies down any foundation that I use. When it comes to my foundations, you know that I have been loving the By Terry, again, Denseless primer, and I mix these two shades. And I think that now there has been one that's been launched that kind of sits between the two of these so that I wouldn't have to mix. But given that these are so expensive, I am going to continue using these. And I just mix a pump of this one, which is number 8 in Warm Sand, and about half a pump of number 9, which is Intense Mocha. They just stay on the skin for ages and ages. They give the most perfect finish. It's not too dewy, it's not too matte. It looks amazing in photographs. It looks like natural, real skin. And for a drugstore foundation, I just can't fault EX1's foundation. I think they're about £10. And if you've got anything that's akin to an olive skin or a darker skin tone like mine, I wear F400. These are just a godsend. The pigments in these have literally been created for darker skin tones, for Asian skin tones, Mediterranean skin tones, and I've written about it, so I'll link it below. I like my concealer to just even out my skin tone and just make everything look uniform. I've talked about it so many times, I've used it in tutorials. It's my Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer in 4N Medium Deep, and I've more than hit pan on this. I haven't got that much longer to go on this one. And for those days when I'm feeling a little bit dry under the eyes and I want something a little bit more creamy, I use my NARS concealer, and I've been using this either in Biscuit or Caramel. They're so close to each other, so whichever's in stock, really. This is Biscuit. I think Caramel is probably more close to my skin tone. This is slightly, maybe half a shade lighter than my skin tone. And I just love the way that these come with their little doe foot applicator, so I can literally just swipe it on and then smush it in with my fingers, and I'm done. Well, for contouring, there's just no competition. For the cream contour, I will use my Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate, and this is in the Intensity 2. It just goes on beautifully, it blends beautifully, it's really natural looking on my skin. I don't look like I'm kind of looking dirty or anything like that. It just gives a really nice contour. And then, yet again, no surprise, you know that I love, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, and I use this to contour my cheeks, to highlight my cheekbones, to highlight down the center of my nose. It looks like it wouldn't be dark enough for my skin tone, but it works beautifully, even on its own, or sometimes I will use the Tom Ford contour kind of as a cream contour and then go over it with the powder contour from Charlotte Tilbury. But both of these like holy grail contour products for my skin. I'm always on the quest for a great highlighter, and the one I really want to get is the MAC Whisper of Guilt, but I think it's either sold out or limited edition, or they're not bringing it back, or they are bringing it back, and I just don't know. And while I absolutely love the highlighter in the Charlotte Tilbury palette, actually the highlighter from HD Brows, and this is in the shade Champagne, and I just love this because it's slightly more pink, it's a slight more rosy, goldy kind of highlighter, and it's not too shimmery, there's no glitter in it, it's just gorgeous. My favorite eye primer is still, it was last year, it is again, it's the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and this is in the anti-aging version, but I have the other one as well, and they are both as amazing as each other. And I wouldn't dream of putting on a full-on evening eye without putting this on first. It just makes sense. I'm going to go to all that trouble to put on the makeup, so I might as well make sure it's going to stay and it's going to look true to the colours that I want it to be. Now, when it comes to eyeshadows, it was a toss-up whether I would go with this one or my Chanel Quartets, which I love. You've seen me do tutorials with them. I wear them all the time. I love those. But actually, in the end, it was my Naked 3 palette, because I don't think there's been a week, probably, you know, less, probably like every 2 days or every 3 days, I am reaching for this palette. It is the most perfect palette of nudes for me. You've seen it before, I'm sure. It's been everywhere, and you probably got it as well. But I just can't imagine living without this palette. And it's so travel friendly as well, because it clicks shut. And I know that when I take this away with me, it's not going to open up. The shadows aren't going to crumble. And for my eyeshadow drugstore picks, well, it's got to be these little trios from Wet n Wild. I just love the pigmentation on these. They're really buttery soft and they're creamy, although of course they're a powder, and they're really, really well thought out. So there's a brow bone, crease and eyelid shade in each of them, and they do come with a little sponge applicator and little brush applicator as well, but I don't tend to use those. I prefer to use my own brushes or even my fingers, because these go on so well. Eyeliners, there's just one product that I keep coming back to again and again and again, and yet again this year, this is my eyeliner pick. And I have got, whoa, I've got how many of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these here right now. I think I have a couple of other shades as well. And these are the Bobbi Brown Long Wear Gel Eyeliners, and they just work on my skin. They stay on. I can go swimming with these and they don't budge, unless obviously I rub my eyes. But they aren't, I don't know if they're meant to be waterproof, but they certainly are waterproof on me. And I have just about every shade. I think my favorite's probably Caviar Ink, which is a deep, deep, deep brown stroke black. But I was wearing these 15 years ago. I remember wearing these for one of my wedding events. In fact, I wore two. I wore Sepia Ink and Black Ink at my wedding event, because I love layering them as well. So, oops, there goes one. Sometimes though, I just can't be bothered with the faff of the eyebrow gel and finding the right brush and applying it. So my eyeliner pencil pick is the Urban Decay 24/7 pencils. They just stay on for ages. They are waterproof, and I can use them inside the waterline. They won't budge, they won't smudge, they won't end up halfway down my face. This is actually the double-ended version, so I've got Whiskey on one side and Zero on the other. Whiskey is a really dark brown, and Zero is obviously a beautiful black. And when I say black, I mean proper carbon black. So you can really do a lovely little feline flick with these as well. My favorite brow powder is the Anastasia brow powder, and this is in the shade Ebony. There's actually 2 shades in there, and it came with a very precise eyebrow brush with a spoolie on the other end, which I use this with. Recently, as you probably know from the blog, I've had my eyebrows slightly lightened because I just felt that they suited my skin tone and my hair better. So the recent entry into my 2014 picks is the Brow Tech eyebrow pencil from HD Brows, and this is in the shade Vamp, and that is the perfect match for my eyebrows. When it comes to mascara, oh my god, I've probably tried a different mascara for every week of the year that was, and my favorite probably was the Giorgio Armani Black Ecstasy mascara, but I think someone has stolen it, so I can't find it to show you. But that probably would be my high-end mascara pick for like volume and blackness and fullness and curl and length and everything all in one. So because I can't find that to show you, I'm going to show you my second pick, the Mally volumizing mascara, and it is incredible. It looks like you put false lashes on. I used this in my New Year's Eve makeup tutorial, so check back to that one and you can see the difference that this makes to the lashes. It's incredible, and it's pure black, and for a girl like me it has to be black mascara or it just ain't happening. For drugstore mascara though, I was completely addicted to the Bourjois 1 Second Volume Mascara, and this is actually the waterproof one, and I'm showing you this because of all the waterproof mascaras that I've tried, this is probably the most waterproof. It just doesn't budge. You could be crying your way through Ryan Gosling in The Notebook and you've still got your mascara on, and it gives all the length and the volume and the curl, and it's not drying as well, because I find a lot of the waterproof mascaras quite drying on my eyelashes, and then they just don't, they're kind of like, you feel like they're going to crack if you touch them, whereas this one still kept my eyelashes flexible but so waterproof. And I actually prefer this to the non-waterproof version. Oh my god, I just got to stop waving this around. Sorry. So anyway, Bourjois 1 second volume, cheap as chips, and just the best drugstore mascara I tried all last year. When it comes to lips, there are so many lip balms that I love, I've written about, but actually the one I keep coming back to and I keep repurchasing is my Dior Lip Glow. I'm obsessed with this because just on its own, it gives the most beautiful finish to the lips. And used as a treatment, also it just kind of makes my lips so just look really juicy and plump underneath any lipsticks. So I've written about it and I can link it for you below if you fancy checking it out. But anyway, that's the Dior Lip Glow. When it comes to lipsticks, you know what, there's so many different ones, and you know I did my 365 different lipsticks over the course of a year. So if you fancy seeing that, I'll link to some of my videos that I made for that. But the ones I think they just bring it every single time. Yay for MAC lipsticks. These are just 4 of, I don't know how many I have, probably like 25, 30, possibly more, I don't know. For my drugstore lipstick pick, it would have to be the Kiko lipsticks. They look gorgeous, they feel gorgeous on the skin, they're pigmented. I can't even count how many MAC lip liners I have here. And I think there might be some duplicate shades in here as well, because they're just the right mix of hard yet waxy. They stop my lipstick from feathering or running, but they're not so hard that they make the lips look dry. The colour range is incredible, and there's always a new colour that I want, a new shade that I'm just desperate to get hold of. In fact, there's one I'm lusting after now, but it's been sold out for 6 months. Can you guess which one it is? You know what these are. I have used them so many times in my tutorials. These are my favourite eyelash curlers. These are the ones by Troy Surratt. I have my Show You Mirror ones, but actually, you know what? I prefer these. I keep coming back to these. I think they're actually wider like this, so they allow for the whole of my eye. I don't get any bits of eyelashes that are left out from being curled. And they open wider, so it's easier to get the lashes in there as well. My favorite powder of last year, it's my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk powder. And I can't even read which shade I'm in because this is just, it's been well loved, as you can see. And my drugstore pick would be my Bourjois Healthy Balance powder, because it gives pretty much the same effect, but obviously for a fraction of the price. Blush of the year was another by Terry product. This is shade 3 Densalist blush, and it's called Beach Bomb. And I've used this again in a few tutorials, so you'll have seen this before. It gives a lovely flush to the skin. It looks a lot brighter in the packaging than it actually is, but you can build it up. But if you don't want to do that, it just gives a lovely natural glow to the cheek. I had a really tough time trying to pick out my favorite brushes, and I know that I can be really indecisive sometimes, but this is beyond embarrassing, so just bear with me. But my favorite brushes were a toss-up between the Wayne Goss brushes, which I love because they're so soft, and especially this one, this big, I think this is called the Holiday brush, which I used for powder, and oh, it's just gorgeous. There's lots of tiny little brushes which are perfect for smudging on eyeliner kind of underneath or just right down into the lashes, and the most innovative foundation brush that I had ever tried. I loved this foundation brush. But then, you see, I also love my Louise Young brushes. And I've just remembered that I have not brought my foundation brush to show you. So this is just some of my Louise Young brushes. And I love these for pretty much the same reason that I love my Wayne Goss brushes. So I find it really difficult. I couldn't decide, so I had to bring both to show you. And then my drugstore favorite brushes, again, no surprise, it's my Real Techniques brush. This is just a few of them. I have to say a special mention, sorry, there is a special mention for the MAC 217 brush. I couldn't be without these as well. Although I have to say, I sometimes would rather use my Wayne Goss brush over and above the MAC 217. Shouldn't say that, but it is true. So anyway, 217, I couldn't film my favorites without it. So that's it. That's all the brushes. No more brushes coming your way right now. Should we do a little bit of skincare? Okay, I'm going to try and do this quickly because otherwise this video is going to go on and on and on. Cleanser, the Radical Hydrating Cleanser. It's the one I keep coming back to again and again and again whenever my skin is feeling a little bit sensitive or it needs a little bit of TLC or just want a really gentle but effective cleanse. It's the Radical Cleanser. It's kind of like a creamy balm. Yeah, what can I say? It's just a brilliant cleanser. When it comes to toning, you know I love the Omravitska Queen of Hungary Mist, but it's expensive. And so, as you probably just recently seen on my December favorites video, my drugstore version of that would be my Sooty Rose Water Organic Facial Toner. Again, another spritz, just spritzing it on. Love this as well. Now actually have finished it. The serum that I have pretty much kept coming back to again and again this year is the Darphan Hydra Skin Intensive Skin Hydrating Serum. Nearly finished this one as well, so I'm going to have to repurchase this. And it's really light and gentle on the skin, and it doesn't feel too tacky like some serums do, but it really hydrates and plumps my skin up. For some reason, I haven't gotten around to writing about this on the blog, but my favorite eye cream of last year was the Sarah Chapman Skin Assist Eye Recovery. Managed to depuff and really hydrate and just plump out those fine lines that I have under my eyes. I have lived by the Body Shop Chamomile eye makeup remover since, God, I don't know, since I was a teenager. And recently they launched their waterproof chamomile eye makeup remover, which is amazing, especially as I was using that Bourjois 1 Second Volume waterproof mascara. This one came to my aid. It just takes off all the waterproof eye makeup, no rubbing at all, really, really gentle on the eyes. Face cream of last year was Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Cream. It luminizes the skin, it plumps up the skin, it gives you younger looking skin. A good night cream. The one that I keep coming back to is this one, and it's by Cult 51 because it just does everything. It acts like your serum, it acts like your night cream, it acts like your hydrator, your plumper, your everything. It just does everything. Apparently you can even use it around the eye. A few quick hair bits. Okay, none of these are a surprise because I've written about them. Favorite mask for my hair, because you know I'm all about the hair mask, is this grubby looking Philip Kingsley Elasticizer. I always buy it in the 1 litre bottle because I use it regularly, and I have 2 daughters who've got hair down to there. Like when I say down to there, one of them can sit on her hair. So this is just necessary. We just need it in the house. Best hair mask ever. But if you can't afford to be going down that route, I love the Vatica one, which I think this huge pot is about £2.50. I've done a tutorial on how I use it as well, so I'll link that for you below. I've written about it as well. All the links to anything I've written about or talked about, you know, in videos or whatever, I will link them all below for you. But this is a great kind of high street version. So that is the 2014 favorites done, dusted, and in the bag. I hope you enjoyed my little jaunt through my favorites of last year. I would love to hear what were your favorites of last year. So leave them in the comments for me below, and maybe I can go and check out what your favorites were as well. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you for staying with me through 2014, and here's to lots of exciting new stuff in 2015. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you're not already, and make sure to check me on Instagram. I'm at BeautyPassionista on Instagram, or on Twitter where I'm at Amberina Hassan. And I love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear what your 2014 favorites were, as I said. So you can either tweet me or Instagram me, or just leave a comment in the comments box below. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.